What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. This is the end of a 6-fight series of the African-American bare-knuckle fighter. John Banks, the Darky Wizard, was born December 25th, 1861 in Richmond, Virginia. He stood 5 foot 6 inches and weighed 128 to 140 pounds. Now, John Banks held the colored middleweight championship during the mid-1880s. John Banks was known to make grunting and sound effect noises while throwing punches. He had a very hard punch. And legend has it that he won 90% of his fights. In 1885, he fought Jack Dempsey, the non-parallel middleweight champion. Fought him in New York, and he lost to him. He would face Jack Ashton, Jim Fell. 1887, January 26, he would face Ed Binkley. Lost him in the 14th round for the colored middleweight championship. They would fight 3 extra rounds to determine the winner. 1891, George Dixon, New York. He would face him for an exhibition bout. In 1899, Jack Root, Chicago. He would lose to him in 1 round. Jack Root would eventually move up to light heavyweight and face George Gardner for the light heavyweight championship. 1887, Banks laid claim to the colored middleweight championship. He held it for 8 years. Banks signed for the hard glove contest to face an unknown amateur black middleweight champion, a Professor James Diversey. It was a big mistake. James Diversey fought John Banks tooth to nail, sending him down to the canvas. Referee warns Banks earlier in that bout not to fall without being hit. This was a legal tactic that was taking place during those years to avoid punishment. In 1888, Banks traveled the world to Boston, Pelican Club, to fight the famous Black Ed Benny. And at this point in time, John Banks would be near the road of his career. He was a sound fighter, very hard puncher with the right hand, knew the tricks of the trade. He was a forgotten fighter that would never be forgotten on the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. So I salute these fighters in their efforts, and they were very good fighters. The African-American bare-knuckle fighter are fighters that should never be forgotten. I didn't get to them all today, but while broadcasting on these channels, I will try and get to each and every one of them. They deserve our support and our viewing. So salute to these fighters. This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series, saying all great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten. It's been fun reviewing the African-American barefooted fighter. Salute to my subscribers. Peace.